Okay, so we are officially 1 week away from the release of Crisis Core Reunion, and for those of you who do not know, today the review embargo lifted. Also, Square Enix sent out review copies 2 whole weeks in advance of the game's release, seemingly to everybody and their mom in the Final Fantasy community, minus me. So look, I'm not oblivious here. I'm a very small channel on YouTube. I'm not on Square Enix's radar. I'm probably not on anyone's radar, to be honest. So there was no way in hell I was gonna get an early review code. So I'll be playing the game next week with all the other normies when it releases for us. I don't know if I'll do a review just because I think by the time I actually get my hands on the game and I'm able to review it, I think people might not be interested in the review aspect or my personal opinion on the game anymore. So with that being said, I thought it would be kind of cool to take a look at the Metacritic score just to kind of gauge what the general consensus is to the Reunion remaster. Now, if we head over to Metacritic, it's currently sitting at a 77, which is a really good positive score. And if we look at a lot of the breakdown of the scores, they seem to range from 7 to 9. So let's go ahead and take a look at that critic split. So 35 of these ratings so far are positive, 9 are mixed, and 1 is negative. So before we get into that negative review, full transparency, I don't really care about reviews as a whole these days. I think the last time a review actually affected me in my purchase was when I was a little kid. But as an adult, if there's a game that I'm really interested in, I'm gonna buy it and check it out for myself to gauge whether or not I actually like it or think it's good. And as an adult, I think there's maybe only one reviewer out there whose opinion I actually do value, and that's Susie the Sphere Hunter. I think she makes wonderful videos. Her retrospective videos in particular are fantastic. I honestly think they might be some of the best on the platform, and I also really enjoy her reviews. She always gives her honest opinion on the games that she's reviewing, and I love her style and her sense of humor, so I actually do value her opinion. So with that being said, let's get back to that one negative spicy review. It comes to us from Metro, which is a UK publication. Now look, if you don't like the game, you don't like the game. That's fine. I kind of take issue though with the review itself because it doesn't really read as a review. In all honesty, there's maybe like 2 or 3 paragraphs where they actually talk about Reunion and the things they don't like, but the whole article itself honestly reads kind of like a retrospective on Final Fantasy VII, the compilation as a whole, and Crisis Core. So it doesn't feel like a genuine, honest review, and there's also a little bit of misinformation in that review. For example, the Materia Fusion system. They claim in their review that it's a brand new feature for Reunion, which is not the case. You could do Materia Fusion in the OG PSP version of the game, so why they put that in there, I don't know. But for me personally, if I was a professional video game reviewer, meaning I got paid to write reviews for games, I feel like I would at least do the bare minimum when it came to researching and fact-checking my review to make sure that what I'm saying is accurate. So that kind of just bugs me a little bit. And then they also go on to say that if you don't know anything about Zack or Crisis Core, that you're not really going to enjoy the game, which I also think is kind of weird because if you look at the original Crisis Core, not many of us going into that game knew much about Zack, and that was the whole point. You play Crisis Core to learn about this character. So that criticism honestly just seems kind of weird to me. But again, at the end of the day, they didn't like the game. That's fine. I just took issue with some of the parts of the review that just seemed kind of off to me. So with that being said, that is pretty much where Crisis Core is currently sitting. Generally, the consensus is pretty positive. People appreciate the new graphics, the updated gameplay, and the quality of life improvements have all seemingly made a pretty huge difference in Crisis Core. So that's really nice to see. So unfortunately, again, I gotta wait until next week, but I'm very excited to get my hands on the game and see for myself what I like and what I don't like, what aged well and what didn't age well. Spoiler, I can tell you already now, I'm pretty sure the dialogue, which was not changed, hasn't aged well. Even with the new voice actors who are fantastic, there's just some things that just cannot be fixed. And with our last story, this is actually pertaining to Final Fantasy VII and the 25-year anniversary. So this comes to us directly from Square Enix, and in celebration of that 25-year anniversary, they are going to be releasing a set of 12 cards for the Final Fantasy trading card game. Now, full transparency, it's been a long time since I've been in the trading card game sphere, so I'm not really up to date with pricing and how a lot of these games play. I've never played the Final Fantasy trading card game before, so I don't know the rules, but I have seen some of the cards and they look really cool. I think the last card game I played religiously was Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in its heyday. That's about as far as it went for me. But taking a look at this 25-year anniversary collection, there's one alarming thing about it, and that's the price point. So I hope you're sitting down, grab onto your butt, your multiple butts that you might have, and bear with me here. If you were to gauge or guess what the price of 12 Final Fantasy trading cards that are limited edition collector's items, how much do you think that would cost? 30 bucks, 40 bucks? It sounds kind of reasonable. Well, this trading card collection is actually $79.99 US. Yes, that is right, 80 frickin' bucks for these 12 cards. Now look, we'll get into the details, but I think the reason why it's so expensive primarily is because every single card is signed by Tetsuya Nomura himself, which I think is what's jacking up the price. So, Square, if you wouldn't mind, if you could release a version of this set of cards that doesn't have the signature on it, and maybe at half the price, I think that would be a much better option. But going into what these cards are, again, there's 12 cards, all dedicated to FF7. They're done in this really cool, beautiful monochromatic style. So some colors do pop, some colors are muted in the whole black and white tone, but it looks like the colors of red and gold really stand out for a lot of these cards. Now again, these are meant to be collector's edition cards. They all come in their own protective case. Square does say in the description that you can use these cards if you want to actually play a game with them, but they recommend that you leave them in their own sleeves so they do not get damaged, because that's the whole point. They're collector cards, but you can still use them if you want, just be very careful. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what you're getting with these 12 cards. So you get a card for Zack, Genesis, Sephiroth, Tifa, Aerith, Red 13, Barrett, Reno, and Cloud and Vincent both get 2 cards each, which is kind of cool. So the first card for Cloud is the FF7 remake art with Cloud staring up at the Shinra building. The second card is actually his Kingdom 1 Hearts outfit, and that artwork with the wing and the Vincent scarf and the bandaged up blade, which looks really cool. As for Vincent, one comes from Dirge of Cerberus, and the other card art seems to be from Advent Children. It's kind of hard to tell, but it kind of looks like his Advent Children design. It might also be Dirge of Cerberus, but it's unknown. Now that's pretty much the video. Now again, this Thursday are the Game Awards, and I'll be checking them out. If anything cool happens in regards to Final Fantasy or Resident Evil or Tekken, I'll be doing a video probably the next day recapping everything, so you can join me for that if you want. Please leave any of your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you guys think about the Crisis Core scores so far? Are they kind of in line with what you were expecting? What do you feel about reviews in general? Do you really put much stock into them, or are they just things to kind of read every now and again? And what do you think of these Final Fantasy VII trading cards? Man, are they expensive. I am Curious Corduroy. I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.